years.
I can't believe how incredibly insufferable you all are. Y'all are blaming NIL for the lack of quote-unquote upsets, for the lack of quote-unquote parity in this March Madness bracket, instead of just sitting back for a second and thinking, well, maybe it makes sense that the programs that have the most money, that the programs that spend the most money on their players and rosters, and also that have some of the best coaching in the nation, well, they won more games. They just won more games. And this is a blip on the radar. Like, I think there's a overarching narrative going out there that this is the start of something that is going to steamroll over college athletics, where we'll never see a Cinderella run again. We'll never see a George Mason again. We'll never feel like a VCU team can make it as deep as they've done in the past because of these Goliaths continuing to compound their wealth and get the rich get richer, and they get the greatest players. And even if you have a great year, guys transfer out, and then they're going to be stars in the SEC. That's the kind of rhetoric that's going on out there, and I just want I want to caution everybody to stop being a prisoner of the moment and realize this is 1 year out of many, and it also is a year where we also had a bunch of close calls. A couple of times we could have had that Cinderella story. Listen to Get Up right here. Jay Williams on Get Up, former Duke guard, obviously, former NBA player as well, familiar voice. He's also ringing that bell, and I'm surprised because a guy as astute as him, as knowledgeable as him, that's a good, hard thinker, I would think this guy would have a little more nuance than this. Take a listen.
NIL is the death of mid-major Cinderella runs. And I think it still can happen, but I think it's going to be more of a rarity, Greeny.
Because?
Well, this could be more of a rarity due to the fact that I think now we're going to see a lot of players that are playing for the Colorado States, that are playing for the McNeeses, that are playing for the Drakes, that are going to get poached by mid-level Power 4, Power 5 conferences.
Why is that a bad thing, C-Cat? Why are people afraid of players being adequately paid for their services to continue to play college basketball?
Well, because this is what makes college basketball unique, not only from NBA basketball, but from college football. There's just too much of a talent deficit to have a quote-unquote McNeese State beat an Alabama on the gridiron. But in basketball, because it's a win-or-go-home single elimination format, we get the fireworks, and the casual fan gets to point and laugh and enjoy the demise of the Dukes and the Kentuckys of the world. That's why we kind of enjoy March Madness, because of the second word, madness. We can't predict it. And there are more fans of sports that aren't college basketball fans than there are college basketball fan elitists.
Did we not get McNeese State getting an upset in the opening round and pushing Maryland to the brink just yesterday? Did we not also see a team in Drake knock out an SEC team? By the way, came into the tournament with 14 teams. They break the record for the amount of teams they get into the big dance, and they also break the record for the amount of teams in the Sweet 16. We now have 7 Southeastern Conference teams left, half of the field still remaining. We saw Drake beat them in the opening round as well. We see New Mexico beating Marquette. Like, we still get the upsets that we like, but the cream at the top is just a little bit more stronger and fortified.
I think the compromise that was made among sports fans who love the purity of the amateur sports and then love that was a situation that's very near and dear to our hearts, very near and dear to our geographic location, was, okay, I can stomach FAU making an awesome run to the Final Four and then getting poached.
Yeah.
Not those guys that would have been playing on FAU during that run being poached before they were able to make that run.
See, but that's the thing, though. To be honest with you, I'm not sure it's happening as much as people are giving that credit for, because if it was, then McNeese wouldn't have that opportunity that they had. The Colorado States of the world wouldn't have been able to boil up to a level to have Maryland. Again, I believe Colorado State outplayed Maryland yesterday. And they had, a double-digit lead, I believe, in the second half until Maryland clawed and fought their way back, and then they retook the lead with under 3 minutes to go. And then you saw how much the Rams kind of bounced back in that situation. I honestly was a little bit afraid for Maryland at that point. I had them winning this game because I didn't even have Colorado State making it out of the first round. I thought I was screwed in all of my groups. But then you get the beautiful jumper, the game winner off the glass from Queen to clean it up. Like, I still believe there's a shot for Cinderellas, and I do think that rarity is not a negativity. Like, I'm not sure why people are mad that if there was a 20% chance of us getting those Cinderella runs, those deep, threatening, could they actually win a title type runs out of schools you didn't expect it from? And now it's down to 15 to 12%. I'm not sure how that's a bad thing. I just don't see how that can be so incredibly wrong when the other side of that means that guys that play and star and shine on these teams also get major bags and a chance to go into a bigger stage and play somewhere else afterwards. It just is a win-win to me.
I worked all day Thursday. I worked all day Friday. I worked pretty much all day Saturday, and I feel like I didn't miss much. And that's a problem because
crazy.
March Madness FOMO, fear of missing out, is probably the biggest FOMO in all of sports because everyone can feel it. Like, not everyone has a job where you're able to just pop on the March Madness app on your desktop and not miss a single minute from a single game. People can relate to, like, dang it, I had a big meeting today, and I couldn't catch any of the first 4 games. That early slate, it just went right over my head. I was kind of in a situation like that this weekend, and there wasn't much madness. And I was able to watch all day Sunday, and we had one great game with UConn getting bounced and Danny Hurley doing Danny Hurley things against Florida.
Gotta love Danny. But first off, before you keep going, pro or anti Danny Hurley?
It's almost like pro until he loses. So, like, if like winning cures all with him, and now you can't hide behind being the reigning champion because you lost. Yeah. So now you look like a jerk. So, I guess anti now.
You're a Hurley front runner. You're a band. You're like a fair weather Hurley fan.
Mm-hmm.
When the going is good, you're like, I love me some Danny Hurley. Bring out the dragon draws. And when he's losing and then he's crying and pouting and yelling at students and stuff, you're anti.
Yeah, that was jackass.
Yeah,
like, come on, man.
Okay, I get that.
Get over it.
I get that.
You kind of get to do whatever you want when you're at the top of the mountain, but now you are not. You weren't even a high seed in the tournament this year, let alone like there was no upset in your loss. But I didn't feel like I missed anything. The Maryland-Colorado State game, that was the game you could not have missed. You had to be there to watch it, and I was so happy to see the rest of that game.
You were available to watch that one, too.
Exactly.
And I'll agree with you. Again, we were working through the weekend, through Friday, through Saturday night. Like, we had a lot of stuff on our schedule, on our calendar that we had to be caught up in. And you're right. We didn't miss much. There wasn't any epic moment that happened during those events that I feel like I regretted working through. But the other side of that coin is we are just at the Sweet 16, people. Like, we're just at the Sweet. Like, mind you, last night's game winner from Derek Queen, the freshman big, the 16. Like, he is also, his game is so smooth. He moves so much better than you would assume with the amount of weight that he carries, so nimble. That game-winning buzzer beater was the first game-winning buzzer beater for a team since the Final Four one that happened against FAU. Lamont Butler for San Diego State draining one over the top of Nick Boyd in 2023 out there at NRG Stadium in Houston. I was there for that one, obviously, covering that FAU Final Four run. Like, we still have time to get some crazy and epic finishes. And now that we can all agree that the best teams have now strengthened their rosters, they have the best coaching, they're super deep. When you look at teams like Florida and whatnot that bring in transfers as well, that it just feels like they have lines of talent that are better than some of these mid-majors. Well, then here comes the madness now then, too. Like, why can't we save room for this thing to be over with before we start judging exactly what the what NIL does to the sport and the game and the tournament that we all love?
Because we all hype up as these 4 days being the best 4 days in sports. Like, one of the best 4-day runs in all of sports, even though people don't give a damn until maybe last week, until the tournament's actually released and we start getting the casual fans involved, downloading their ESPN Tournament Challenge app. It's replicatable. You cannot replicate the phenomenon that is March Madness because it goes from zero interest into all interest. Everybody cares about these games because it's unpredictable.
Well, let's listen to Derek Queen. Let's listen to Derek Queen. First, I want to hear him after he makes the shot, 72-71, which ironically is the same score from the FAU loss, which is kind of heart-ripping from anybody from out this area. Maryland wins it. It's off the Derek Queen jumper. And here's Queen after the game relaying to CBS Sports why he felt confident in telling his coach to give me the ball.
There was a timeout. You said, I'm not going to say the full thing, but you said, get me the ball when he came out of the timeout. Where does that confidence come from?
I mean, so I think I'm from Baltimore. That's why.
Absolutely.